It's time to put the kids to sleep. Grab a glass of wine. Block your ex because we're talking all things Sistas. Stay tuned.
I'm Maria Menounos, and you're tuned in to AfterBuzz TV, the ESPN of TV talk. Now, let the buzz begin.
A mess. What is up, guys? We're back for another episode of Sistas. And I am here with my sisters and a very special guest who we will get into in just a second. But first, to my left, he's not the second, he's not the fourth, honey. He's Howard the third.
Hello, everybody. It's Howard the third. Nice to be seen. Nice to be heard.
Mm-hmm. And skipping that, even further down the line, we got Miss Lmarie in the building, rocking, the poetic justice, honey.
Yeah.
We're popping. Okay. No. And all the way down to the very end, she is the voice of the people, the voice of Black Hollywood Live, child. It's Miss Nakia Monet.
Hi, y'all.
And I'm so excited about this guest because this is my favorite character on the show, who, besides, the sisters themselves, Mr. Brian Jordan Jr. is here.
Hey. What's up?
Yes.
For those who are tuning in, he plays Maurice, who is Howard's doppelganger.
I feel seen.
Thank you so much for coming in tonight.
Thank you guys for having me. I'm so excited.
We are so hyped to have you. We have so much to talk about because...
Another triggering.
Like, we're in the trigger I need a safe space. We're in the trigger worthy.
This is much needed after that show. Like, you have to talk it out. Like, Tyler, why do you do this?
Where do we even begin? Let's hop into Andy because it picks up where it went off last week, and she is in her office with Gary's. I feel like Gary's a slur now. Like, I get mad saying
Poor Gary.
Like, Gary's wife, and she's showing the ring the old boy just tried to give Andy. And so, needless to say, Andy is not feeling her best.
Listen, that's got to be tough, something to go through. And some parts of what the wife was saying when she was talking to Andy started to make me seem like, oh, I kind of do know a little bit. Some, like, maybe she doesn't, but some things, like, maybe she planned this and maybe she did find out and she just didn't let Andy know that she knew who she was. Because it was a few things that she dropped there. I was like, does she kind of know? I know he chose me. I know that I'm the one. And looking at her like that, I don't know. That's just how I felt during that scene.
Right.
It's just so triggering. Everyone must die. No. It just sucks because, like, when you're going through something, you can't see what's going on because you're in it. Mm-hmm. And then when you're out of it, you look back and you're like, damn, I can't believe I let this person put me through this because he's doing this game where, like, when someone's not paying me any attention, I'm with you. So then the poor wife is like, he loves me. Then they get in a weird argument. Then he's like, I love you. And it just sucks because you gotta die. Gary has to die.
He's a Gemini, I think.
Don't kill. Well, that's disrespectful because.
Are you a Gemini?
Yeah, now hold it. Wow.
Okay, a Libra. We'll see.
Okay, Libra.
Wow.
We love Geminis.
Yeah.
Sure, yeah.
There's just 4 different people there sometimes.
But great people.
Great people, though.
As Aretha Franklin said, beautiful gown.
Beautiful gown.
Beautiful gown.
Lovely, great gown. That's what she said.
But
you guys are cool.
Great people.
I'm hurt.
I'm sorry. We'll get to it.
I'm triggered.
By the end of this episode, we're going to be okay. We'll be back to where we started, if not better.
Sure.
Gary's a Libra. We're going to give him a Libra.
Gary is a Libra.
Gary could be a Gemini. Gary just... Poor Gary. He just... Everybody wants to be loved. Love wants to be loved.
Gary got a lot.
Gary is he gets a hard time, but I think that Gary is... I know men like Gary. Yeah. I'm not a man like Gary. But I do know men like Gary, and I think that a lot of things play into men who decide to have several different situations going on, especially if he has a family. And if he's willing to risk a family with a sick son, there's something deeper.
Yeah.
And so that's what I always go to. It's like, what are you trying to do? Or are you not in love with your wife anymore? Which you guys will see.
Damn, this show gets
You'll see. You'll figure out why.
Right.
Okay.
Oh.
All right.
Not saying that Gary's a good guy though. I mean, he's cheating on his wife.
Damn, Gary.
But okay.
But Cheeto is a good guy.
Yeah,
Yes.
And my brother, he's great.
Yeah.
Beautiful guy.
People have been attacking him.
I do that. But that's how you know you play a character really
Absolutely,
good.
yeah.
When you take on this role. And like you said, that's a real life role where there are men and women who are in those situations where sometimes you're in a situation and you fall out of love with the current situation, but unfortunately while you're in it and dealing, you happen to meet someone else.
Of course.
And it's how you deal with it. And Cheeto's just a great actor.
Yeah,
Because I know
he's
fans
phenomenal.
hate him right now, but that's how great he is.
Yeah, they
So Andy, rightfully so, is ready to pull up to Gary's work and throw these hands. And Karen, being a reasonable friend, because I think we've all been Andy and we've all had to be a Karen at some point, tells her, we're just gonna block his number. And so Andy goes to block the number and also delete the number, which Karen's like, what are you doing? So what I want to know is, what are some key things that you do to get over an ex?
Cry it out. I usually cried it out, of course, and then I play all my music, my Mary J,
I listen to your playlist.
You know what it
Yeah,
is. Okay. So I listen to my Mary J, my Amy Winehouse, cry it out, and then I just do the same thing. I block the person, delete the number, take them off social media, and then just be in my feelings for a little bit. But then, I come back to it and realize I'm a baddie, so I'll be better. Okay.
Takes a while. Yes.
A few scoops of ice cream, but
Can't wait to exhale. I know for me, I make playlists because it just makes me feel a little bit better to make the playlist. But because I'm really petty, I don't block anyone because I want you to see how great I am. Though I'm hurting, but you got to see I'm a bad bitch every day. It hurts to put the lipstick on. I'm like, Jesus Christ. Let's take this photo. Then I cry again. But just trying to keep my mind off of things like hiking, working out, have a playlist, go out with friends. And then at night, you cried it out.
Yeah.
But because I'm the type of person, like, I get really sad and then I get angry after.
That anger get on me too. But I do have to block though, especially because so that I won't look, and then so that I won't be tempted to do things, and then like that deleting the number is very important as well.
That's tough.
Because that puts more work that you have to do to try to get the number if you didn't remember it. And these days we're not really remembering numbers.
You gotta delete it from the iCloud, otherwise someone's like, do you mean Gary? And I'm like, no, I don't mean Gary.
Right.
with your little iPhones, I think they keep the number in there.
The iPhones, they bury the number in there.
See.
You can never.
They had an Android.
Okay, exactly.
Brian.
We're just going down the line disappointed.
Do you like pictures?
Excuse me.
Exactly.
Listen, my friend Nakia over here has an iPhone 11, didn't have no flash.
Okay, first
at
of all.
the Halloween
No,
party.
because Nakia didn't know how to use it.
No, brand new phone. I didn't listen. He tried to drag me because he got an Android.
She had no flash. Come to the Android side, Brian. Listen, we got wonderful pictures. I got an S7, not the updated.
What language are you even speaking?
S7.
What is that?
What's the next?
Y'all not gonna drag me in my Android because we do wonderful things. That's
I would say, Brian, what about you? Like, what have you?
You know
done
what's
there?
funny? What I've realized is in modern times, it's very easy to I'm a Gemini, so I am calculated, and I also am logical immediately. Like the logic comes before the emotion, and so for me, I'm like, I've been in a relationship, even if it's been 4 years or 3 years and it's over, it's like, I'm 28. So 25 years ago, I was fine for 25 years without this person. So what I'll do is, I won't block because I want them to see.
Right.
But I will mute so that I can't see. And so you get rid of them in your phone. You don't want to talk to them on your phone, but you want them to be able to still see. And so that's what I do. And I just forget about people. It's the best way to do it.
Right?
So I didn't know you 3 years ago, and I was fine.
That's true.
I feel that.
Until I get more calm, I'll do that.
You don't block so they can see, but you mute.
You mute
You can't
so
see.
you can't see.
I'm quoting you on that one. That's
I
good.
like it. I'm here for it. I think I follow that route for the most part.
I do too.
I don't have the crazy moment. I don't have like I'm not ready to pull up to anyone's, but I will act like you never existed ever in
That's
life.
the best thing to do. You
I'm
have
so
to.
petty.
You have to. And therapy.
Yes.
Yeah.
Because then you're like, I will get rid of people in a minute, so I have to like talk to people. It's like, Ryan, what happened to your mom? I'm like, well.
You know what? A true Gemini.
Who's that?
So let's talk about Miss Karen. Since, you know, she was able to help Andy through her situation, but she might need some help through her own situation.
Fam.
She goes on a date with Aaron, who I am not sold. I know you guys are like, oh, you know, what's good with him? I'm not sold on him. I don't think I like him. He's kind of corny to me.
See that.
A tad
little bit.
but I'm gonna take that foot massage.
A little bit, but I was gonna say that. Like, I think he's a dude, because, you know, I feel like sometimes with women and men, we have this thing when we date the same type of dudes.
Yeah.
And then you meet a Aaron, because, like, you know, I've never had no dude say to me, like, give me your feet, let me rub your feet. Excuse you.
Not a 5-star rating.
Well, that's because that's nasty.
Exactly. Got the food all
No,
over the
and
place.
I was thinking to myself, I mean, I carry hand sanitizer, so I just would have handed it to him before we
No,
ate.
I don't want to be eating my steak and see you over there rubbing somebody's
Right
bunion.
under the
I'm not
table.
doing it.
Under the table, you won't see it.
I can see you.
Okay,
No,
guys,
I
but
can't.
feet.
With food.
Okay.
Even with hand sanitizer, like you get like the sanitizer and foot smell like combined.
She's on her
You better
hands.
speak
She's
on
on
it.
her feet all day.
See, I'm not touching your
Her
feet.
feet smell like
but-
perm. It's just nasty.
Not bird. Like, I'm not a fan of feet, so I'm not touching Aaron's feet. But
Oh,
I thought
no.
it was actually
Yeah, no.
to suggest, like,
I
you know,
thought
people
it was
say rub your
nice.
feet. No.
I mean,
People
all
love
those
that,
things
though.
do come into play, but the feeling of how
Yeah,
good that
yeah,
feels,
her.
Yeah.
skips
I just
all
feel
how
like
y'all feel about it.
He was
Same.
he kept like insisting. I don't know. He was just very pushy for me.
Yes.
He was
And
that.
I wasn't really feeling that. And then they brought up a very interesting topic because she asked him how many times had his wife cheated, and he said only once. And she was like, well, how many years were you guys together? And he said 15. And that, I was kind of interested in that whole topic too, because is one enough for you, or does it depend on the situation? Like, 'cause 15 years is a lot of years to just.
It's not like they always say, it's like men can't handle what they do to us. You know what I mean? And Aaron's character doesn't seem like he's the cheating type, but just men in general. Like, they can cheat on women and women will go back. Maybe, you know, it's like the tales all the time. Like, okay, you work it out for your family, but men don't really look at it that way. They look at it like, oh, you betrayed my trust. Somebody else was in, you know, what they think is theirs.
Yeah.
Then they're ready to be out, like, immediately. But women, I don't know, we're just taught more to stick around and stick it out, and they're just like, oh, no, bye.
I think it depends on the situation. It's just like we've already built this union for 15 years, and then one little incident, like you just ready to cut the cord.
Absolutely.
I'm with Karen. It's
Yeah.
just like,
Yeah.
can we
I'm
talk
out.
about it? Can we do
Yeah.
therapy? Can we do something else? Now, if she were to go out and say cheat with half of somebody, you know, the football team, or if he were to go out and go cheat with all the cheerleaders, then you know, well, maybe. But if you're cheating one time on one person, and we're 15 years deep, and let's say we have kids, we need to talk about this. We might live in separate rooms, but we're still gonna be married. I'm not just gonna divorce you after that.
I think we might be on the same page here. I think I'm Audi 500.
Oh,
After
yeah.
After
first one?
one,
After
even
one?
after one,
Oh,
you
yeah.
get Bible.
I'm a head out.
Yeah. Because if I
Yeah.
keep it in my pants, you should be able to.
15 years. You don't. Let's say there's kids involved.
There it is.
You don't.
In the words of Michael Jordan, them kids.
Period.
Good. That's
child.
good.
Now we sharing bank accounts, sharing
kidding.
cars. You know what I mean? Like
Those things can be easily
Yeah.
disseminated. Oh yeah, get it out. I can't do it. One time is it for me.
really.
I don't
I'm
know
not
if
saying
I can
cheat 20
ever.
million times.
Yeah.
but-
I don't think I can ever get it out of my mind. Like,
Yeah.
how do you go on?
It's hard.
Because it's like, I
It
don't
is.
can trust you. Because then to me, I'm thinking to myself, damn, we built this for 15 years, and how long you been cheating on me? Who you been cheating with? Like, you couldn't even. It's weird. I don't know because I'm not in that situation.
True, same.
But I know I'm looking at you every day like, you got to die, Gary? I don't know. I just
Yeah,
think
because
Gary's
for me,
name.
I feel like
Dang,
Gary,
Gary, come on, y'all got it. Come on.
But it's one of those things where I do believe if that happens, we do communicate, but I don't know if I could trust you after
Yeah,
that.
that trust is definitely broken. I think for me, I would try to attempt to give it one more shot, but
Same.
we can't have it again. Because if we have a second, then we'll have it a third, and we're going to continue to have it.
Right.
So, and most feel like if you have that one, you're going to have it again. But I'm willing to try and
Yeah.
see if we can work it out. But after that, if it happens again, then
Do
I
this
just-
exactly.
I feel like for me, that's always going to be in the back of my mind, no matter what. And it's just
Same.
like, it's not even so much the act of like sleeping with someone else that's the issue for me, because y'all know I'm a little hippy dippy, so I'm like, whatever, free love. But it's the lying and it's the lack of respect for me and for what we have together.
Yep.
Because it's all about like, I feel like if you're going to be in a marriage, like communication is key. So if you can't communicate with me that you're not happy, you can't communicate with me that you want to see what else is going on out there, then like what
Yeah.
else are you not communicating about?
Yeah.
So I'm out.
on that.
Aaron was out too. Aaron was like, one time. Give me the food.
Oh, her. I'm Aaron.
Yeah.
Yeah, I can't do it.
Because I'm a person, like, if I'm not happy, I'll say I'm not, and I would never do that. Like, I'll head out because it's just, like, it's not worth it to me to be in something I'm not invested in.
Mm-hmm.
You know? So it's like, I would hope you would have the same respect.
But sometimes some people just go into cheating not thinking that. Sometimes it's just like, it's a quick sex thing. It's a quick... Now, some cheating things turn into relationships. Right. And sometimes it's just like, oh, I'm just out here doing what I gotta do.
But guess what? Even when you out here doing what you got, that's a relationship.
It is.
You sharing energy with somebody else.
I agree.
And we good.
Right.
Yeah,
like, get your...
Because it could... because if you... Here's the thing, like, today, people have so many different types of relationships.
Yeah.
So just get one of those.
Exactly. Just say single.
Oh, y'all have to have 14 people in my relationship, but I just need to know.
Yeah.
Exactly. Wow.
Communication is key.
I think we're getting back to that point where we started.
Are you a Gemini?
No, I'm an Aquarius.
Air
Oh,
signs.
that makes sense. Heir to the throne.
Y'all air signs.
I love them.
Well, Aaron forgets his wallet.
Oh my God.
Which at first I felt like it was a ploy, but then he calls his ex-wife, or not even yet, his wife, who still is shacking up with him, to come around the corner and drop off his wallet while he's on a date with the good sis Karen.
That is so humiliating, one, for your wife. And I know that if she whatever hurt you, but that's not fair for her to come. I just have rather pay for the damn bill, cash app you, bro. Like, I'm out. But I don't know what type of game now you're playing with her. I don't know her situation and your situation. Where now in my mind, I'm like, you just want her to see us sitting here. Yeah. So now I'm like, do you even really like me? So then my mind starts to go a little bit crazy.
You know, I think that, just watching it as an audience member, I think that with Aaron, he met Karen and she was so, like, strong and high-strung and I'm this and I'm going to say this and we're going to get into it the first time I meet you and I'm going to curse you out in front of all these people. And I think that, one, he wanted to prove to her that he was strong. Two, he wanted to prove to her that he was literally getting a divorce, so my wife coming here won't be a problem. We're not connected, and there are children involved, and so it's like, we're living together because of this, but I am looking for a divorce attorney, so help me give one. And also, let me just get my wife to bring this to the date so that you can know that I'm not lying, because Karen is literally, she needs that kind of assurance, because she's literally watching her best friend go through something with a man who continues to say, I'm getting a divorce, and she's crying every day, you know? So I think that it was important to show, also just from a writer's standpoint, because this episode was written so well, from a writer's standpoint, the juxtaposition of Aaron and Zac, when you can just see, like, in this episode, Zac is literally in a shelter. And this man is so much of a strong, you know, man that he's massaging your feet at the table. He's going to prove to you that his wife isn't a factor anymore because she's going to bring me my wallet to our date. So I just think that that's powerful.
That was... I was like, his poor wife. I don't know.
It's just still a weird situation, awkward situation, because she doesn't really know what's going on yet. You know what I mean? So it's like,
who doesn't know?
Karen. I was gonna call her Sabrina on accident, but Karen. She doesn't. You know, you like we said, he brought her there to show that, to prove it. But from her perspective, it could be to show off, to maybe make your wife jealous. She's the one that cheated on you.
Absolutely.
So she's in the position to sit there like, I don't know what this is.
I think it's some of that too.
I think
it's some of that too.
I would have just really kept saying, like Karen did, like, let me just pay for the bill.
Yeah.
If I know I got it in my pocket, I'm just going to pay for the bill. Don't bring your wife, because, like we're all saying, we don't know the situation. And it's just like, well, what if she come up here, and what if she was really, like, about it, and she wanted to press me? How do I know she's not coming up to, how do I know this is not a setup? This is our first little date.
Yeah.
So you could have brought your wife to come, you know, mess me up, take my money, and, you know, take my heels and go.
Now I gotta drag your wife and you, and boom.
I gotta kill that big jumps, you know what I mean?
I don't think that Karen's worried about that. Y'all gonna really see Karen ain't no joke. She ain't worried about nobody taking nothing from her.
Okay, but you know, he said he lived around the corner, so you could have knocked me over the head, took me to your house.
That
you
is
and your
something.
wife could have skimmed me. You never know. You never know.
You're the writer. Yeah.
It's okay. No, hey.
We gonna be okay, Howard.
It was a triggering episode. Triggering.
Is everything okay?
I'm alright.
I'm like,
Howard was
but
very
something he
triggered.
said did kind of make me nervous because he said it's not that I don't love her, I'll always love her. It's that I'm done.
Oh,
and I just don't believe men when they say they're done.
No.
I'm like,
But you know, Lmarie has a good point because men do that where women will be like, oh, I'll take you back 2-3 times, where men are like, oh, you kissed another man, I'm done, you whore. And it's like, whoa, what the hell? Like, men are very territorial where it's like, where women were just like understanding, we try to talk with you to therapy, where men are like, I'm good, fam, done with her. And it's like, I mean, 6 months down the line, they may act like they're not, but at that moment, men are like, I'm good.
Mm-hmm.
Where it's, when you reverse it 6 months down the line, women are like, I'm good, I'm much better.
Exactly.
And then men are the ones that are texting you like, yo, I miss you so bad. And you're like, who is this? Blocked.
I saw your such and such today. Good job. Sorry.
we're triggered. We're triggered.
You know, this is a very triggering show.
Yeah, I see, guys. This is not. I'm a man, so.
Whoa. All right.
Everybody all right?
I told you.
You know, we all just going through a lot of things.
She done turned the AC on.
Dang.
We're gonna hug it out after this. Maurice.
Oh, Lord.
I love the scene between him and Sabrina when he's telling her about the date, and he's just very dramatic about it. You know, my legs are crossed, my toes are pointed, perched, perched, and the whole time he was talking about getting with you. So
What a disappointment.
What a great line.
I know, it's just messed up. But Maurice is, like I said, everybody, this show is about millennial love. Like, everybody wants to be in love, including Maurice. And I think that there's a lot of funny to Maurice, right?
Yeah.
But the truth is, Maurice was just happy that somebody asked him to go. You know, it's hard to be gay and black in a setting where, especially when you're working in a public place like a bank, you know?
Mm-hmm.
And so then, like, a man is coming up to him and saying, can I take you to call? He's never heard that, you know? So it's funny, right? He's rushing to write the number, but the truth is, finally, you know?
Yeah.
And so, you know, a lot of people on Twitter went off on Maurice about, like, why would you go out with, you know, him? He just went out with your friend, Heard, but also, friend is always questioning if he is gay. Friend is friend, you know, and if Maurice sees that he's a good guy, then it's like, you show you.
right.
You know?
Right? You shouldn't go to waste.
Right?
Yeah.
I mean, that's what I
If
always
that
say.
was the situation, you know.
Maurice, I already said it earlier because I was talking to Brian before, and I was like, last week when the guy asked him out and was like, you know, I'm just trying to get close to your friend. How many times does that really, you know, happen? A lot in the community. Yeah. So I was like, Maurice just supposed to be loved. Like, I still see.
It's the truth.
It's
and, you know,
really the truth.
And it's so funny because when I first got the role, I talked with Mr. Perry and just about, you know, with the producer Mark Swinton, who was a great guy, about how I wanted to make sure that my portrayal of a black gay man was not unhuman. Right. Because you see, it's so poorly done, in my opinion, so much. And so I wanted to make sure that people could enjoy him, right? You know, he's funny, it's the shade, it's the tea, like whatever, but also it is human for him to be upset that somebody would waste his time asking him, because that's what happens.
Yeah.
Everybody, you know, men,
I'm trying.
you know, straight men is if a straight man has an open mind enough to deal with the gay man, it's usually to get to his friend.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? And so you see that so many times. And Maurice just needs love. Sabrina needs love. Yeah. They all need love.
Yeah. I need love.
I think it's really cool to see Maurice as a fully developed character, just because a lot of times in shows like this, the fun gay sidekick or, you know, the sassy black girlfriend or whatever, we're never fully developed. It's just kind of like we're there for the punchlines and that's it. And it's cool to see him have, like you said, these, you know, humane interactions and feelings, and it's really refreshing to see see that character on TV.
Absolutely. I'm so honored to have this opportunity, and it was so to look like I do, one, to be the kind of man that I am, and also be able to because Mr. Perry really, really has fleshed this guy out. You'll see so much, and I think it's brilliant that we finally get to see somebody like Danny, who is always a psychic. Danny's the lead on this show, you know? You know what I mean? And it's so, Mignon is doing such a beautiful job with it, and I think that it's so good to see somebody like me, and also just all of the different types of people on the show, and being represented in such a wonderful light, and I think that is revolutionary, honestly, and I'm glad to be a part of it.
It's a really great show.
Thank you. I actually love it. I'm like, is she good? You know?
Yes.
No, we're triggered every week.
I would say it's a really fun show. I mean, obviously we were excited because Tyler Perry's dope and whatnot, but it's fun to watch it with like your three best friends and to see these people who look like you and talk like you and have similar situations and be like, I feel that.
Yeah.
Right? And it's just like, it's such a fun experience. I love getting to watch with y'all.
Yeah, and it's right on time because I know we always we talk about like girlfriends and things and shows like that, but we hadn't gone through our things to really relate to the things that were going on Girlfriends. It was good for us. We enjoyed watching it, but now it's like, girl, yes.
We're at the age now where we're going through.
Yeah, millennials need it. Millennials need it.
Especially black millennials, because I mean, like, there was Girls, but that show was, where is it? Brooklyn? Is that where that show is? And there's no people of color on that show, and like that doesn't. And so it's nice to see people who look like us, sound like us, act like us on TV, and go through the things that we're going through, and for that conversation to be put out there, and get all these opinions.
Absolutely.
So Sabrina decides to, suck up her pride and make this man some dinner. How are we feeling about the relationship now that she's trying to tap into it and get past this little speed bump that she's created for herself?
Oh, is she really trying to get past it? Because the way he was dancing, she was already second guessing everything.
Yeah, I don't know. I don't know.
I mean, he was fast dancing to a slow song.
He was. I was like,
sexual.
Here's the thing, though, guys. Here's the thing. Because I'm trying not to say too much, but here's the thing. Sabrina is trying. I think that there is a stigma that has been perpetuated about African American men and masculinity. And I think that when an African American straight man is not the status quo, African American women begin to question it, and it's learned behavior. It's whatever we've learned. And so I think that Sabrina, which is one of my favorite characters, I love Novi so much. She is great. Sabrina is not as strong as the other women when it comes to mental, and you'll learn. And so anything somebody tells her, you see that she's listening to. It's like, Maurice said that he is. And so I think that there's some self-realization that needs to happen before she can fully be able to love anybody, let alone someone who's so different. He's so different. And I grew up I'm a black man. I grew up, and so it's just certain things that we don't do. That I see white men do all the time. Freely. And nobody cares. But I think that it's so much tied into it, like slavery and all that, and just whatever was done before we were free. But I think that Sabrina is just taking her time and learning. Marice called her homophobic in every episode. So you have to understand that there's so much. It's entertainment, it's also educational. Maurice is wise. And so he talks to her. He's put there so that Sabrina can learn to not be a bigot, or and so I think that she is like a lot of women that I know, and she's trying though. She is trying, but I mean, if you see something that's out of the norm, it's just like the men don't. My daddy don't do that. The young man had on slingback shoes.
I noticed.
I noticed that he did. But I think, like you said, I think he's good for her because it's someone to kind of bring you out and open your mind and be like, something that I've been thinking this whole time isn't what it should be. There are so many different men and so many types of different men that I should be looking at and dating. And you're right, especially like in the black community and masculinity, like we question so many things.
Yes,
so there is a man enjoying music and he's grinding his hips. You're like, oh no. And it's like, no, there's men.
Because why? What about that makes him love a man? Like, I don't. It's very weird when you think about it at its core. There's so many things attached to it. He's you'll really learn his strength. You'll really learn what kind of man he is. And also, I just enjoy and it's not because I'm a part of it, but there's a triangle of this straight man, this gay man, and this straight woman, and we're all connected, and we all learn from each other, and, you know, Calvin and Maurice, you know, learn each other. It's just a whole thing, and I think that it's just important to see those type of relationships on TV, especially because you don't see it. These are human. These are humans, you know?
Yeah.
So I think it's brilliant.
I like Calvin.
I think it's a really important storyline to have just because, like you said, it's, you know, masculinity, especially in the Black community, is something that's so fragile and, like, you
toxic.
know, it's such a fine, there's such a fine line. And as Black women, like, we often are like, oh, I wish more Black men, you know, were more emotional or were able to express themselves more.
Do you?
And then there's a situation like a Calvin where he's great, but, like, because there's a twist in his hip, suddenly it's a red flag, and it's like, really, like, that's the one thing that's gonna throw us off. This man has everything else, but because he
absolutely. And then you ask her, like, how many times do you think you're going to ask me if I'm gay or not before it's an issue, you know?
Mm-hmm.
So I commend Calvin for continuing to come back.
Shout out to Calvin.
For
With
real.
the wine.
Right.
So, like, you just said, like, do we really want that? When she said, like, you know, someone is emotional and can express themselves, and it's like, I feel like we do, but we don't know what it looks like.
Yeah.
So since we don't
Never
know what it looks
experienced
like,
it.
We never
we're not
experienced
familiar
it.
with it, we freak out. Like,
So then you like with Zac,
Mhm.
and now you pissed.
Yeah.
And it's been so interesting to have social media around for a show like this, because seeing the conversation for, like, for instance, the Calvin thing, and seeing women be like, I thought I was very progressive, and then I realized that I was kind of Sabrina
That's
in
right.
this sense.
That's
and
right.
I'm having to unlearn, you know, these different thought processes I have. It's interesting.
It's
for sure.
It's the best form of art.
Yeah.
Like it imitates life, and it also just enriches life. That's what I always say. Like, I want to do projects that enriches life, and I've learned so much from Maurice. I mean, playing Maurice, and you guys will be able to see, and I wish that I could say it. This show is literally going to change Black America. Like,
I'm excited.
whenever you get on episode 25, people be like, it's truly, and I'm so proud of it, and it's truly, truly, truly revolutionary. And I personally feel that this is the best show that Tyler Perry has written.
It is.
I'm
Listen, as a fan
I'll
of Tyler Perry
I'll
shows,
co-sign it.
for the have and have not, to show like this, this is it. Like,
It's
this
a good
is
show.
Tyler's, like,
Yeah.
this is
because
it.
and also because it gives you everything. Like, we are learning, but we get the drama and we get the moments, the comic relief, like the comedic
it's
timing
life.
is just
Yeah.
so
Life
good
is
on
laughing,
there.
loving,
Yes.
pain. It's all of it, and that's what all of these things are: the laughing, hurting, pain that comes from being human.
Right.
That's all it is.
Yep.
It's a great show.
I want to get more into you, but before we do that, I just want to wrap up with Danny real quick, because Danny lets Zac move in. I told y'all last week.
You sure did. You sure
Told me
did.
young last week. I don't know. I don't know. I looked at her and I said, you know, this situation's a little. She's like, I can't tell you anything, but I was like, I feel like this might get a little tricky.
I'm saying, I love y'all. Y'all know you my ride or dies, but if one of my exes was sleeping on your couch, we might have to have words.
And not only that, she used to flirt with him before.
But here's the
got
thing,
together.
guys, and this is just me playing devil's advocate. Danny knew him first. They were friends first.
Okay.
She introduced him to Karen. Also, and this may not be appropriate, everybody on this show needs love. In any way. So if you have a friend, it's obvious that Danny and Zac are like brother, sister to me. That's what I see so far. You know, God bless y'all with the rest. You'll see. But it's obvious that Danny, who is she talking to?
Right.
She's always dealing with somebody else's problems. And so, boom, wow, this is another problem. But it turns into, because you could just tell that she wants there's company there. She can argue with somebody. That's fun for her, you know? And I think that the love in any form is better than no love at all. And so even if you like making fun of somebody with money, well, I'm talking about for Danny.
Okay.
Because there's a certain misery. I mean, you get miserable after a certain point in time. Like, not everybody, but you can see it with Danny. it's messing with everybody's relationship.
Yes,
She always has something to say. That's not normal. She always has something to say. She's always, it's to me, a cry out for help, and well played by Mignon.
Man, she kills it.
And I think that we'll all be, there's a reward if you continue to watch, and I think there's a lesson in all of it. But I just think that it's all rooted in Dani being a beautiful, probably the biggest heart on the show, and besides Maurice, and also wanting the heart to be filled, because it's a big empty heart. It's filled with other people's problems, caring, and people feeling like people. Because then you think about, Dani, why don't you ever have any money? Dani, why are you doing this? Dani, this. You stole this from me. You only smoke weed. You do this. You do that. All you spend your time. It's just like, these are best friends. You know what I mean? And so I think that, first off, it's easy to deal with somebody else who doesn't have money because it makes you feel better about yourself. You know what I mean? It's like if everybody, all your friends are doing well and they're paying for your stuff, and then you have somebody where it's like, you from a homeless shelter, that's a little bit lower than where you know what I mean? I think that it's just so many things connected to it. It's deep. It's deep. It's inappropriate. But it's deep.
I mean, I'm all about her finding love, but I just wish it wasn't gonna be, with the friend.
Well, nobody said it was gonna be with the friend.
Right. I mean, but
there's like a platonic love. That's what I'm speaking of.
Because sometimes,
hopefully,
I would say sometimes relationship and love come out of things like that, and sometimes it's not on purpose. Because I used to always say, and we all joke, like when we go, I'll be like, look, if there's someone that I like or you like and they don't like me, and if you want to talk to them, I respect my friends more if they come to me and say, I really want to talk to that person. Because I feel like it's a waste of penis. So why not? But I feel the perspective. You come and say, I really, you know what I'm saying? But I think with that relationship, that's something that's going to blossom into something, because it's not going to start off that way. But it is a little weird, because it's like, this is the man who I just kicked out. He cheated on me. This is crazy. But because she knew him first, it's just so. It's like, how do you approach your friend?
Weird.
Yeah, how do you approach Karen and say, hey, your man sleeping on my couch?
Yes,
and
indeed.
we're not related, but he.
And also, guess what? Nobody's saying anything about Zac. Like, that's my favorite part. Like, nobody's saying, well, Zac, why are you going over there?
Zac just trying to find a place to stay.
Exactly. But
I guess
and so she's just offering. I think that we should put the weight equally on each other.
Yes.
And my favorite part about Zac is DeVal is totally different than Zac. Like, he's one of my closest friends, and he's so much different than Zac is. It's so funny to see him play. It's my favorite.
It's like, I want to put the weight on equally, but I just feel with Zac, he doesn't owe anybody anything. Like we said, he just wants to find somewhere to stay. With Dani, like, girl, you've been with me through the storm. You've been with me when I was crying. You've been with me when I was calling him trifling. I understand you want to have a roommate, but we got roommates.com. You don't have to go through this, because what's the level of girl code? Because,
the thing that what I will say about it is, because I think that we may disagree slightly. What I will say though is, call Karen. Like,
True.
I agree with that.
I will say that.
Hey, Karen,
just call her.
this man don't have nowhere to stay.
Do you mind
exactly.
if just call your friend? Communication is key, so that way Karen doesn't see y'all at Trader Joe's and she's like, what the hell? And it's something that's probably innocent because you're helping a friend, but Karen won't see it that way. So just call Karen.
So maybe that's what it is. We just
but y'all know how Karen is now.
True.
Okay.
Karen ain't playing no games.
Ever.
So, Brian, I want to know how you got involved with Sistas. Like, what was the audition process like?
Such a funny story. So I had auditioned for the Oval.
Oh.
And when I auditioned for the Oval, it was a great audition. I forget the guy's name. I think the role was Kyle. And he's a white guy, so obviously they went with someone different. But I had a great audition. And I also know the casting director at Tyler Perry Studios because I'd done a play with them years ago.
Oh, nice.
And I come from the theater world. I went to NYU for acting, and I did the Broadway, national tour stuff, all that stuff. I'm a singer and a dancer and all those things. So when I moved to Atlanta in 2015, the first thing I did was like this Christmas play with Mark Swinton. Mark is the executive producer at Tyler Perry Studios. And it was a great play. It was something that was done very fast, and it was a lot. But it was great. And then I went in for the Oval because, it's so funny. I'm so connected to so many people at Tyler Perry Studios, but the Oval was like my second audition there. Like I would audition for so many things, but I had not been in for things there, which was so funny. And I auditioned for the Oval, and then they went with someone else. And I was filming a movie that comes out on the 23rd of this month.
Okay.
It's called Christmas Bells. It's coming on BET. I was filming a movie in New Orleans, and I got a call from Raven Drummer. She's the casting director and also just a great person. And she's like, hey, Brian, I have a role for you. I want you to put it on tape. So it's me trying to put something on tape. I'm filming another movie. She's like, I'm like, when do you need it? So Tyler Perry World is like, when do you need it? Yesterday. Mm-hmm. So like, can you get it to us by 3? It's like, I'm like, yeah, sure. It's like 2:40. So I'm like rushing to hurry and get it and trying to find somebody to read with me. So I did the audition. And about 9 o'clock that night, my agent's like, hey, they want you to come to Atlanta tomorrow for a callback. I'm like, oh, okay. So I get there, and I've never seen so many beautiful people in one room. It's like everybody who they wanted to see call back. And so it's all the people who are on the show now, plus like 100 other beautiful black-ass people. And it's like, oh my God, who are these people? And it's also like big name people, like, people who would like, and also just like influencers and things, because there's a thing, like I'm an actor, I'm a trained actor, I went to school, but there is a thing now where people are doing well on social media, and producers are like, hey, come on, and some of them are great. Yeah. And so you see them and it's like, oh. And so they called me to read for so many roles. A lot of the guys were there to read. I was reading for Maurice, Aaron, DeVal was already cast. Yeah. Maurice, Aaron, Calvin, we were reading for all of us were reading for all the roles. My first read was for Maurice. So I go in and I'm like, okay, here we are. And the truth is, I thought that Maurice's sides were funny, but Maurice was a recurring character. Yeah. I think he only had like a few episodes. He was just a guest star. And I was like, I want a serious regular role. So obviously, like, I'm gonna do whatever I can with this one. I want to be Calvin. I want to be, Gary. Like, I don't want to, we good on this. So, his description was, and I think I was telling you outside, his description was Maurice, Sabrina's friend that works at the bank. They had no age, he had no last name. I'm like, okay, well, whatever. So I went in to read for Maurice first. We did the scene from last week, the coffee table scene. And I actually did it initially alone. Mr. Perry's in the room. Is very intimidating. It's like Mr. Perry and all these people from BET, and you have all the cast and directors and all the producers like sitting in this dark room. There's a light shining on you. It's very intense. And I did it, and I just kind of let loose and I had fun. I was like, whatever. Like, this reminds me of Dominique, my friend, and so I'll just play Dominique. I like to be grounded. And so he stopped me in the middle. He's like, hold up. He's laughing. And so he's like, get Anthony in here. Anthony ends up he's Calvin. Okay. He's like, get Anthony in here. And he brought Anthony in and we read it together. And then I was like, oh, okay, well, I got somebody to play with. So I went off and it was a whole thing. And Mr. Perry, they were dying laughing. Like I couldn't even hear myself. And so after that, they were like, okay, you can go. I'm like, but I got those other roles to read. I want to read for the series regular roles. And they're like, no, we're good, thank you. I'm like, shit, I guess. So I was like, let me go back and do my little movie. Because I wasn't finished. I left filming to come
for the audition.
And do the movie. And to come and do the audition. And so I'm like, whatever. And I'm like, cool. Like, they're going to go with somebody else, whatever. Because, there are people like, and I'm not going to say anybody's name, but there's like these people with millions of followers who are obviously gay influencers, and it's like they're gonna pick him. They ain't let me read for none of the other stuff, so they're gonna pick him. And so when I got the call, I was blown away. I'm like, what? And then they were like, and he's bumped it up to a series regular role. He really enjoyed it. I'm like, look at that. Wow. And so I think I went from being like in 7 episodes to being in 21.
That's amazing.
Wow.
That's right? Congrats on that.
Hey.
That's what's up.
All right.
Well, I feel like we could talk to you literally all night, but they are wrapping us up. But where can people find you online, and when does tell us a little bit about the movie when it comes out?
Absolutely. So all of my handles is Brian Jordan Jr. That's Twitter, Instagram, Facebook, is all that. And the movie is on BET at 9/8 Central. On the 23rd of November. It's called Christmas Bells, and it's a great, funny holiday comedy. I'm doing some singing and some dancing. It is hilarious. And Raven Goodwin is in it. She's great. She's from being Mary Jane. Janet Hubert, original on Viv. Wow. John Amos is in it. Kunta. Omar Gooding is in it.
Wow.
Dominique Perry,
Love Dominique Perry.
Dominique, I love her so much.
cast.
Yeah.
Okay.
It's great. It's funny. Mark Taylor, and people don't know Mark Taylor's name, but Mark Taylor is the guy from 17 Again. Remember that movie?
I loved,
The grandpa?
No,
The grandpa.
I thought you put the actual grandpa.
You know what? I'm sick of it.
So yeah, he's in it, and it's so funny, and it's so black. And Terry J. Vaughn directed it.
Wow.
Yeah, so it's great. I'm very, very excited, and I'll be actually home for Thanksgiving, so I'll probably watch it with my family and stuff. And so you guys check it out. It's great.
Definitely be checking that out.
Thank you so much for coming in. You're
Thank you
honestly
guys for
welcome to come
having.
hang whenever
Yes.
you
Oh,
want.
perfect. I'll be back tomorrow.
Yes, we'll be here. We got
We family now.
21 more episodes to go. Something like that?
20, what was this
20
for? Yep,
episodes? Yeah,
21.
Ooh,
I'm excited.
is there a holiday break?
I do think that there is a holiday break.
Oh, okay.
I do think we'll be on TV in May.
Yeah.
That's what it seems like. It's a lot of episodes left. Yep.
Oh, I'm excited.
I'm excited. It's a fun show to cover.
Yes.
Well, guys, let them know where they can find you all.
Yes, you guys can find me on all social media at Kiki Boom Boom. And Howard and I, we do a show every Sunday called Back to Reality on Black Hollywood Lives. Make sure you guys check that out.
Yes, and you guys can find me on Instagram and on Twitter at Lmarie TV.
And you can find me on Instagram, Twitter, and Facebook at Howard III. I also do the Keeping Up with the Kardashians after show with Nakia over there on Sundays at 8 p.m. Pacific Standard Time. So hang out with us there.
And I'm your girl, Drew Jones. You guys can find me on all the things at OKDrewJ, and make sure to follow AfterBuzz on everything at AfterBuzz TV. We'll see you guys next week.
Bye.
Our founder, Keven Undergaro, and me, Maria Menounos, would like to thank you for tuning in to AfterBuzz TV. Remember, we're not just the first, we're the biggest in the world, and we're the only destination for all your favorite TV shows. Whatever you crave, we've got it. So go to AfterBuzzTV.com and check out our lineup. Buzz you later.
The views expressed herein are those of the hosts only and do not necessarily reflect the views of AfterBuzz TV or its owners or principals.